Hi parents! Have you ever walked into a school meeting worried that if you say too much, you'll sound like a difficult parent? But if you say too little, then your child won't get the support they need? If this sounds familiar, then this episode is for you. Welcome to From the Teacher's Desk. I'm a special education teacher with parent and teacher-friendly strategies to support learning and behavior. And today we're talking about how to ask school for help without sounding like the difficult parent. And also we will be talking about a few small language changes that can help you advocate for your child in a stronger way. Let's get started. A lot of parents know that their child needs more support at school, but what they do not know is how to ask for it in a way that isn't emotional, confrontational, or easy to dismiss. And many parents go into school full of panic and end up feeling unheard, or they say nothing and just wait until it gets better on its own. And neither of these solutions feels good, because when you are worried about your child already, thinking about entering a meeting like this can feel incredibly heavy. If you are in that place, here is what matters most. Advocacy, or speaking up for your child, gets stronger the more specific it is. So don't say my child is struggling, but instead say my child is consistently shutting down during writing activities and they need adult support to begin. And instead of saying school is stressful for my child, you could say my child is melting down at school after lunch on days when there is assembly, noise, and when the schedule changes. The more specific you are, the harder you are to brush off. And I'm sorry to say this, but it does happen and teachers do get busy. But the more specific your language is, that gives the school something clear to respond to. This is also why documentation matters. Write down patterns, save emails, note dates, list what teachers report, list what you see at home, and what support has already been tried. You don't need a dramatic case, but you do need a clear case. And this is what makes your concern harder to minimize and easier for the school to respond to. And when you go into meetings, use a collaborative tone while still protecting your child. And you could say things like this: can we all look at the pattern together? Or what accommodation can we put in place for this challenge? Or I don't feel my child is receiving enough support. Or what support can we put in place before this escalates? And remember, you don't have to be aggressive to be clear. And this is really important, because calm does not mean weak and clear does not mean rude. You do not need to wait too long until things become absolutely terrible. Early support does matter. And some teachers will tell you to wait. Let's wait and see. Give it some time. Let's revisit later. And sometimes this is the correct support. But at other times it means that your child is just struggling for longer while adults keep collecting more evidence and more information. If your gut is telling you that the current setup is not working for your child, trust it enough to ask the right questions now. Remember, school teams know the school environment best, and you know your child best. So the best outcomes usually happen when both kinds of knowledge are equally respected. You are not there to win a fight. You are there to build an environment of support around your child. And this is really important to remember, because it takes the pressure off having to prove yourself and puts the focus back exactly where it needs to be, which is finding the right support for your child. If you leave the school meeting confused or not sure about next steps, ask for it in writing. This helps everyone because it gives you clarity, it creates a record, and it also helps you follow up in case support is not given. You don't need a perfect plan, but you do need a clear plan which you need to follow with persistence and calmness. And you also need the belief that your child deserves the support before they burn out, not afterwards. Thank you so much for joining me here from the Teacher's Desk. Next week, we will be talking about inconsistency and why your child can do one thing today and not be able to do the same thing tomorrow. See you then.